Very good. Approval of the December 2nd, 2024 minutes.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Good, motion carries. All right. Well, good evening, my fellow trustees. We have here before you some proposed revisions to some board bylaws. And there's 3 of them that have some revisions that I would like to go over with you and just give you a brief summary. And then I would like to hear your comments and opinions or any revisions, and then take whatever action. So the first board bylaw is Board Bylaw 2305. And as you can recall, let me see if this is 2305 is the annual organizational meeting. And so this annual organizational meeting was rewritten to be a little bit more simpler, so it's easier to read. And I would like to thank Crystal Colross who did that. She rewrote it in plain English so that a layperson can understand it. And it's really in response to the action that we took a few months ago, changing the date of the election.
Right.
So this is consistent. We had to amend this so that we could take action on the annual organizational meeting in December. So that is the provision that you see before you. Everything else is the same. So any concerns or comments about that?
I have one question. Thank you, Trustee Fong, and thank you, Crystal, for putting this together. This all makes intuitive sense to me. What is the basis for the 15 days after the second Friday? Is that just the date by law that you need to?
That's the legal requirement.
Got it. Makes
So you
sense.
could do it before that, but you have to do it
Within 15 days.
Mhm.
Got it. Thank you.
Just would you like
Oh, that's good. My pen exploded prior to the spelling being good. Oh, thank you.
whatever I need.
Yeah, you want to get ink on over your hands. Let's put this one here.
Trustee Chung Lau, questions or concerns?
I have a question around the second Friday in December. Is that also something that is in the education code that we need to follow?
correct.
Yes.
With the November election, they're giving you till, because all the election results have to be certified and everything has to be processed, so they give you until 15 days after the second Friday in December.
To certify the election?
It's not to certify the election, to hold your organizational meetings.
Okay.
So the election should be certified by then, but they just give you
Right,
enough
that's why,
time.
because they
I
have.
think they give us 30 days to certify the election. And then, so if the election's on November, first week of November, then you have 30 days from that to certify. Then after that, then it's 15 days to hold our annual organizational meeting where we vote for president, vice president, and secretary. And so that falls on the second Friday.
And I'm glad that this is happening because when we had our elections in June in different years, it messed up with the organization because some trustees did not get to serve their full term.
Oh, right.
Yeah,
Right.
as the
Yes.
as the officers.
So this kind of simplifies and streamlines things.
Okay. Great, thank you.
Would you have any proposed revisions, anyone? Okay, can I make a motion?
So many.
Okay.
Okay, second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, nay, no, motion carries, very good, thank you so much. All right, so, the second bylaw that we have is Board Bylaw 2345. So, we have this one. So Board Bylaw 2345 is a bylaw that relates to public participation at board meetings. And the revision that was made to this bylaw deals with when the public comment would be allowed. And this revision has revised it such that the public comment would be allowed when the item on the agenda is taken up at that time. And so allowing public comment at the time the item is being discussed makes it a little bit more relevant for the speaker and for the board. The government code on the Brown Act does allow us to pass reasonable regulations on how we manage our public participation. So this is not mandatory, it's permissive, but it helps streamline our board meetings.
May I ask-
Trustee Paul, can I add something to that?
Yes, yes.
One thing is that these changes are made in conjunction with the next policy you're about to
okay.
review.
Okay.
So some of what's struck out here is now incorporated in the next policy, you'll see it, to put it all in one place so that in the future you don't have to change two different policies. That was one thing I wanted to add.
Oh, I see. So it says by an individual is limited to 3 minutes, so the time is now in the next policy.
You'll see that there.
Trustee Lu?
No comments, this makes sense to me.
Okay, trustee Chumani? Okay, can I have a motion?
So moved.
All right,
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, motion carries. All right. Easy, easy. This last and final one is the board bylaw 2350, and it deals with speakers that come to us at board meeting. And so this was a little bit more of a detailed revision to speakers. So a little bit of background. Under the Ralph Brown Act, a board of trustees may implement reasonable regulations as to the timing, the amount of time, and how we regulate the speakers that come to us. So they don't have strict rules, they actually give us some latitude to regulate it. So what you are seeing in black are our efforts to provide some structure and regulation of our speakers. So for example, if you look at paragraph 1, the ones in bold is what is being proposed as a revision. This is pursuant to the Brown Act 54954.3. And the revision is that if you're going to speak at a board meeting, you should direct your comments to the staff. We don't want you directing comments to employees.
And you should direct the comments to the board.
Or to the
not-
audience, right. Yeah, I'm sorry, yeah, directly to the board. So that's one revision right there. Okay. So the second is in paragraph 2, that allows us to impose reasonable time constraints. And so if you look at the second bullet point in paragraph 2, we've imposed some time constraints that we can limit the speaker's time to 3 minutes on non-agenda matters. And if you require a translator, we'll double it. And so you can speak for 6 minutes. So that's on non-agenda items. The third bullet point about timing is regarding a speaker that asks to speak on 4 separate items. If they want to speak on 4 or more times, they are limited to a total amount of 10 minutes of speaking time, and then each item is limited to a maximum of 3 minutes. So that is somebody that wants to speak on 4 or more agenda items. So, and it's pretty self-explanatory. And then on the next page, on the next bullet point, there's also, if you want to speak to the board on items that are not on the agenda, but that are within the subject matter, then you have to submit a written request to the superintendent before the start of the meeting. And when I say superintendent, I mean superintendent or designee. So it's submitting that request to the state, to a staff member.
Do you want to clarify that and say a written request to the superintendent or designee?
Yeah, we made that change in 4. I'll make sure we make that change in 3.
Okay, thank
That's the
you.
same change.
Can you show me the change in paragraph 4? I'm not sure.
Yeah, where it says board executive assistant instead of
Oh,
superintendent.
yes, yes.
We'll do that same
Oh,
thing
that's
in
right.
3.
We did, I'm looking at my draft. Okay. Yes. Okay. Yes. All right. Okay. So basically, we're imposing time constraints to allow for reasonable efficiency and effectiveness in our meetings.
I do think that it's important to have the comments be directed to the board and not to the staff or to the audience.
And if I could add, one, I think this is a great job in finding balance between giving people an opportunity to speak and voice their opinion while making sure we don't derail the work that has to happen for the public. The one note that I had was regarding the last bullet point on 2, so the speaker submitting requests to speak 4 or more times, limited to 10 minutes in total. I think we want to reflect too that if being the translator, then this would be doubled as well, because in the prior bullet point it says 6 minutes instead of 3 of being your translator, so I think we should probably make that change here too, so that 10 would be 20. One other note, I don't have any particularly strong feelings about this, but my want to make this evenly divisible is that if it's 4 times, then 12 minutes would make sense, because it'd be 3 minutes per request. That's just a me thing, I don't think we have to do that, but I think that would be nice to make it evenly divisible.
Okay.
So you want an extra 2 minutes?
I think it would make sense, but I don't feel too strongly about
Okay,
it.
so you're
Or
acknowledging,
24?
are you're, he doesn't feel too strong.
He doesn't have strong opinions. How strong is your opinion?
I feel that if they want to speak for 3 minutes 4 times,
Well, it's 4 or more times,
Yeah.
so they could ask for 6 items, which would be 18 minutes.
Yeah, again, no strong feelings about it.
I think I'm okay with sticking with just 10, don't you think?
That's okay by me.
Okay.
Although I do agree with him that if a translator is needed.
Yes, that I agree with,
Should we add an
Yes.
extra 10 minutes?
for the translator.
So Jillian,
Same thing.
let's add in an extra, no, let's just write it.
Okay.
Okay.
The other question that I
So-
have,
How about if I just quote it to her,
sure.
see if you like it? So at the last bullet point, under section 2, add this sentence: if a translator is required, the total speaker's time is 20 minutes.
And then if you want, we can also just take some of the wording from the bullet before and kind of reference that.
Oh, you mean repeat the same verbiage, just so it sounds consistent?
Yes.
Yes, and I noticed the issue is they require a translator, not that they must have a translator. Okay, I like that, that's good.
The one question that I have is on comments shall be directed to the board. For the city of Pasadena, and I believe some other cities, the public comments cannot be directed to individual board members, but must be directed to the board as a whole. I don't know if there's more due diligence done on this. So when you say direct to the board, is it to the board as a whole, or comments can be directed to individual board
We
members?
could talk to our attorney about that. I do, just based on my previous conversations with him, I think what he'd likely say is, like, it's a little trickier since you are public figures and elected officials. So if someone were to say trustee Chen Lao, and then, the chair were to call them out of order, that would be I think, a kind of a grayer area to navigate. If you all would like us to go back and talk to our lawyer about that, we can, but that's, for my conversations, I think, I don't know that we'd be able to put the full board and not individual board members, but.
The revision here, it really refers to the board as a whole. So when you say comments should be directed to the board, really the mandate is you're directing it to the board of trustees. But then the issue is, what happens if a public speaker says, Trustee Ryan, let's talk about your life. And that violates the board bylaw. But I think what Jillian's saying is, as elected officials, people have a First Amendment right to criticize you personally. So,
Or to praise you,
Or to- I've never seen that.
You know? No, they're,
But praise, or actually you raise a good point, because what if somebody wants to come up and thank a particular board member and we have this rule, right? So it kind of cuts both ways. And plus, by the way, they're limited to 3 minutes anyway,
Right.
so
Okay.
Any criticism is 3 minutes.
Yeah.
Or
His
any
life
phrases.
is much more
Any-
robust
I was just
and
thinking that.
Or any
exciting
phrase is
than
only
3
3 minutes,
minutes.
right? You can only take a 3-minute phrase, that's it. We can't praise you more than 3
Unless
minutes.
it's on different agenda
No.
items, 10 minutes.
Well,
but-
if it's
Get
4
yourself a
different things that
translator.
he's done, then he gets 10 minutes, and then if you have a translator, it's 24
Yeah,
minutes.
so he's gonna get
of
24 minutes, either
20, not
24,
24.
20, okay.
Yeah. And
So that's
I-
why he's trying to get more minutes.
So in that case,
You're
then
time's up.
that's, I guess in this case, it would be really,
Yeah, I think as written, it gives the general guidance that they should be directing the board
that's fine.
without putting any teeth behind if they mention a board member, but if they were to comment on, someone's personal life that is outside your subject matter jurisdiction, and that's already in there as being able to be ruled out of order if needed, so I
And I
think
think-
it gives you a broad.
The outside counsel is very sensitive to the First Amendment.
Okay.
All right. Is there anything else you'd like to add or
No,
revise? the
I'm
policy?
good.
Oh, very good. So we have some really good policies.
Well, thank you for your, I'm sure you took a lot of time to review this, so
Oh, I
appreciate your leadership on this committee. I always feel that I's are dotted and T's are crossed.
3 minutes.
Okay. I'm praising
I
you.
know, I can do it for full 3
Okay,
minutes.
all right.
It's actually Jillian Beck.
Uh-huh.
She's
Great
telling
job,
you-
Julie.
She's telling you 3 minutes, keep going.
Exactly. And Crystal Cole Ross, who also has a contributing hand.
Great.
Okay. Do we have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? None? Okay, motion carries. Very good. Meeting schedule? Well,
5:30 works, does it work for you?
Yeah.
Okay.
proposed future agenda items. I would like to just add an item for discussion. I have been talking to Jillian about this, which is the notion of a board bylaw on just laying down the procedures and operating agreements that are necessary if you were to pass a term limit policy to take it up for an election.
Okay.
I did not recommend that we do it for financial reasons. However, it would be good to include it in a bylaw to educate succeeding trustees that this is how, if they're interested, this is what they would need to do, and just have it as a bylaw that's in our system. For discussion.
For
next
discussion.
time.
So
Next time.
if I'm understanding this correctly, we are not going to take up a future agenda item on term limits, but we will be reviewing any potential discussion of term limits?
A potential, the concept of having a bylaw that outlines what is required if you're interested. If you wanted to pursue a term limit process. So that it's in here for future trustees to read and to be guided by.
In a sense, like putting how to guide.
Yes, yes. Like it would cite to the relevant law, the process, the procedures, what is required, but it's not enforceable until you take action. So it's really it's an FYI.
Why don't we take that up as a discussion, like an information?
Oh, there you go, an information item, like,
About what
Term
that
limits.
policy would be.
What, just about
So
term-
so to what Trustee Kong was saying, Crystal did some research about other districts, and no other California community college districts has pursued actually doing a ballot measure to get term limits, but some of them do have a policy like Trustee Kong was mentioning, which basically just says if the board wanted to do term limits, they'd have to pass a ballot measure. That's all the policy says. So if you wanted to at the next meeting, we could show you that template policy, either as an item to be voted on or just as information.
right,
Well,
and
I-
actually have our legal counsel just zoom in and explain why, the cost that's involved, what's involved in it, so that you actually understand what would be the undertaking to pursue something like that. Just so you know, it's just more for educational purposes. Would you like to add that to the next meeting as an agenda item, as an
Do we have a full agenda for May?
We'll have some other policies as well. How many do we have?
I think I
You
could
said
have
like
4 or 5.
4 or 5? Yeah.
Yeah, it could be in June. And we'll just add it as an info item, just so you can ask. the-
I know that has come up
A few times.
a few times,
Yeah.
yes.
Okay. Trustee Lee, do you have anything to add?
Nothing further.
Anything to bring?
No more minutes to add.
I like my even number.
Yeah.
Okay, do we have motion to adjourn?
So
Second.
Okay, we're adjourned. Thank